as the king of Buganda. I grew up for part of my childhood on Chambogo Hill. And one of the palaces is up on Chambogo Hill. I will never forget as a little boy, while playing around, walking on the streets of Chambogo, the Kabaka taking a walk. And I know he had some of his security, but one thing I fondly remember is he would always stop and he would wave. He would greet. He was such a gentleman. I can never forget the fatherly nature that he carried, even when we were little children walking around. And I realized one thing, my friends. The Kabaka has a humility and a humanness about him, a tender heart that I believe every leader in Uganda needs to emulate. Because he carries that. And I can never forget those memories. Yes, he was the Kabaka, but he's the Kabaka for the people. That's who he was. So I could never forget that. And of course, as a church, we've had the privilege of hosting various events, and some of the kingdom officials have been a part of it. And like I already recognized, the Nabagereka has been a part of our events. But one I cannot forget is the opportunity we had as Watoto Church to pastor Princess, like I have to get the name right, Sangaliambogo Katrina. It was so precious. She was a little girl in our children's church. She loved to dance. And whenever we had events that were done by our children's church, she would dance so well and so pretty. Then she started getting a little older, but because she was so talented, she participated in our events at the downtown, in the Christmas cantatas. What a beautiful fruit from the royal family. And we just can never forget Princess Katrina. Today's scripture is simple. It comes from Psalm 119 and verse 90. It says this: your faithfulness, and this is referring to God, King David was writing, your faithfulness continues through all generations. You establish the earth and it endures. When we were reflecting on what the theme for today would be, the theme of the celebrations have been going for a whole month, and a lot of activities have happened. But we just felt that today we want to just celebrate God's faithfulness for these 33 years. We have every reason to celebrate. We have every reason to give thanks. The best way to celebrate God's faithfulness is by being grateful and thankful. Every individual who is either watching me or listening to me today, if you ever find yourself not being thankful, remember the very breath you have, you didn't pay for it. The very life we have is not an entitlement. It is a gift from God. We celebrate as the Christian community, and I do want to honor the men and women of God that are here. Would you please stand? Because I need to honor you, spiritual leaders in the land. Let's honor these precious, precious servants of the Most High God. Every single one of you. You may be seated. On behalf of the church community, we celebrate, especially on a day like this, being reminded that it was Kabaka Mutesa who invited the missionaries to come to Uganda. And for that, we are grateful. We celebrate, we join together with Buganda community to celebrate for the restoration of the kingdom, and it is 33 years of God's faithfulness. As a nation, we have every reason to celebrate and be reminded that the kingdom of Buganda is a great contributor to the development of Uganda. We cannot celebrate all the good things in Uganda and forget to recognize those who have been a part of this nation and this country. Yes, Our nation, when we look back, has been through ups and downs. And sometimes when we see what's going on today, there's a sense of fear and anxiety that, oh, will things go back to what they used to be? But today we celebrate the same God who took us through yesterday is the same God with us today, and he will take us through into the future. So we have every reason to celebrate his faithfulness. As Watoto Church, like I said, it is a privilege that we get to host this event. When the Kabaka was being installed as the king, one of the members of our church many years ago was actually the Katikkiro. And that's the late Honorable Joash Mayanja Nkanji. He was a faithful member of the church. To see that he was there when it started, and 33 years we are here to celebrate God's faithfulness, touches our hearts. I got a message from Mama Ruth Nkanji, and she said to me that I believe Honorable Joash is in heaven celebrating a day like this. So as a church, somehow we have had a small part in celebrating the things God has done in Buganda Kingdom. 3 reasons, and then I will be done, why we need to develop a culture of thanksgiving. Just like the Kabaka is really using this as an example for the rest of the kingdom, but Uganda, by saying when it comes to a big moment like this, I want to have it in various faith communities. He's developing a culture of gratitude and thanksgiving. But I just want to give 3 simple reasons. There may be more, but 3 simple reasons. Number 1, the reason we need to celebrate God's faithfulness and give thanks, number 1, is simply this. It is good manners to be thankful. It is good manners to be thankful. There's a generation of people that like to grumble instead of having gratitude. There are people who like complaining instead of celebrating. Let me tell you, being around a grumbling, complaining person isn't pleasant. And good manners is to recognize that to be thankful is just a way of carrying a good virtue and culture. Thanksgiving is good manners, my friend. And so I want to challenge, especially children, the youth, to learn this great culture of thankfulness. Because as youth, we tend to carry an entitlement. But we have to learn to be thankful. Spouses, being thankful for each other. Workers, people who have an opportunity to work in a place, be thankful for your work. Being thankful as an employer for your employees. Leaders, being thankful that they have an opportunity to serve, and those being served, being thankful for their leaders. Thankfulness is good manners, my friend. Now, let me try some Luganda because I've spoken so much English. There are a few sayings that I came across. Entasima ebulajiwa. I'm trying. Let me translate it for those who don't understand, like myself. An ungrateful person eventually has no one left to give them anything. Webale tekugwa kumumwa. It should never stop. Thankfulness should keep flowing from our lips. Atajjukira birungi bye baamukolera abatalina mpisa. So, being thankful is good manners. Tell your neighbor, it is good manners. The second reason why being thankful is important. Being thankful honors God. Being thankful recognizes that God is the source of everything we have and the sustainer of life. Thanksgiving magnifies God. And today as we were singing, it was an expression of thanksgiving. I think of a story again of a young Muganda man born around 1912, raised in a beautiful culture where he was nurtured well and taken to church, and he had good values. He had a chance to go and study further in the United Kingdom, and while he was there, he never forgot his roots. He never left his values. He still maintained his values. But one thing that really caused him to think hard was whenever there was an official ceremony, the British would always sing, and they would end by using this phrase, God save the king, or God save the queen. And this young man thought, I'm from a beautiful country, from a beautiful kingdom in Buganda. But I wish we could get something that would make us feel more patriotic and also proud to be Baganda. Because he was such a brilliant, well-groomed, and even talented young man, he chose to write something that would reflect it. He had no intention that this would go far. He was simply jotting down an expression of patriotism, and he wrote something that was amazing, that was to honor God, to remind the people who would ever read what he wrote to honor God. And here is what he wrote as he termed and poetically put together a patriotic theme that he believed would be sung. He wrote and said, Katonda omulungi ow'ekisa, otubeere Mukama, otubunduguleko emikisa gyo, era baffe omukuumenga. The very last verse he wrote was to honor God. I went back to study the Buganda anthem and study how Reverend Canon Polycarp wrote it when he was 25 years old. I was amazed. I was amazed. And we got to sing it. Where I reflected upon it was when I went to visit Bulange, and the Katikiro was unveiling the plans for the celebrations. And we sang the Buganda anthem. For the very first time, I heard that verse. I said, let me go and read about it. You know, my fellow friends, embedded in the anthem is honoring God. Is honoring God. Let's keep it up. And let's never underestimate the talents and creativity of our young people. Finally, we celebrate and give thanks to God because thanksgiving attracts God's blessings. It attracts God's blessings. And today, as the kingdom gathers to give thanks for 33 years of God's faithfulness to the Kabaka and to the kingdom of Buganda, doing this is attracting blessings. And I want to say this. The moment we maintain a culture of thankfulness, here's what you're doing. You are opening a door for more of God's blessings on the king, upon the royal family, upon every official, and upon the kingdom of Buganda. Because I have learned this, that when you give thanks, you touch the heart of God. And when you touch God's heart, you trigger his hand to bless. This is true even in families. A thankful child always gets blessed more. So, Okwebaza kwe kwongera omukisa. That is a saying. Atasiima takula. Some of you cannot believe that I can speak Luganda. I grew up in Buganda, so I can speak some. So I encourage you to be thankful. Jesus healed 10 lepers, the Bible records. All of them healed. Only one returned to say thank you. The Kabaka of Buganda, the officials, the Katikiro here, the Kingdom of Buganda, thank you for being like that one leper who returned to say thank you. I want to invite a few friends who are going to come up here. Worship team, if you can come as well as we finish. In the narration at the start, there was a powerful story about the East Africa revival. Part of the key players in that revival was a wonderful Muganda man, Simeon Nsibambi. He was a crucial part of the East Africa revival. This revival grew so strong that a Luganda song has become an anthem for the believers, used to and still is, and that is the song Tukutendereza Yesu. It is literally sung in every part of this country. As I think about that song, it reflects the greatest gratitude any human being can have, and that is being thankful for God's love. You might be here today and you wonder if you're really loved. The people around you may not appreciate and love you just because of what you look like or what you can't afford or what you can afford. Sometimes people's love is based on what you have and you don't have or what you look like. But when it comes to God, God's love is so perfect. God's love is not selective. He loves everyone. And as we carry on, the rest, you're going to hear speeches, you're going to hear so many other things. If there's one thing we would love you to never forget on such a day, is that God loves you perfectly. He loves you perfectly. And God's love will never leave you the same. That's why we can sing Tukutendereza. And a few friends are just going to come to just tell you how God's love changed them. We are going to pray, and then we will carry on with the rest of the celebrations. So I want to invite Mama Allen. Are you here? Yes, Mama Allen, please do come up here. You're also going to hear from a youth and a child telling you about God's love. Please welcome Mama Allen.